everyone. Welcome to Cmoore-Books. I'm Colleen. Welcome back to my channel. So as you saw from the title of the video, I'm gonna show you my reading stats for 2022. It's crazy that another year is already ended. So I'm just gonna go through what I have on Goodreads and on Storygraph. I don't really do like an Excel document. I do love Excel, but I've just never been that type of person. So let me share my screen. And yes, I am using Zoom. I am that person. So, let me stick myself down here in the corner. I'm gonna make myself just a teeny bit bigger. Okay. Okay. So, my year in books, I read 277 books. My goal is 200. I know that's a lot of books. Yeah. I'm crazy. I know. It's fine. Uh, and my new goal for 2023 is 200 as well, just to let you know. But I'm gonna share my other 2023 goals, but I just thought I'd get the number out there now. And my pages for the year were 59,340. For all I know, Storygraph might have a different number because I swear things are different from one to the other. So the shortest book was 1 page. This is a picture book, so I'm a children's librarian. Um, and so I have like picture books on here and then like YA and adult and everything, but this book is like 32 pages. I don't know where they got 1 page from, so this is just weird. And then the longest one was Gemina from the Illuminate Files. If you've not read the Illuminate Files, highly recommend it. So good. And so because of the picture books and stuff, um, the average is like 214. Totally screws with my average. Then the most shelved was Harry Potter. And the least shelved was this picture book that I did as part of one of my STEM story times. So 0 people shelved it besides me. But I was there to say that it was great. And my average rating on Goodreads is 4.5. I'm really nice. And the highest rated on my Goodreads was Ballad for Sophie. It was really interesting graphic novel. I honestly can't even remember what I rated it. Oh my gosh. This is gonna be on my worst books of the year, FYI. So we're not gonna go over my review because I'm gonna rant about it later. And these are just some of the books that I read. So just scroll through some of them. So yeah, so we got some picture books at the beginning of the year and things. So yeah, so we'll hop over to Storygraph. Should probably be on my stats page. Okay. And yes, I've already read 7 books. 4 in 2023 so far. So I should probably switch the year. Should have been a little more prepared. So I would do the reading wrap up, but I like going through it this way. So I met my goal, 277. So I love how it does like the mood of the book. So my highest mood was emotional. So true. And then we have lighthearted, adventurous, reflective, mysterious, informative, funny, hopeful, dark, inspiring, tense, sad, challenging, and then relaxing at the bottom. This is very much true to my life with relaxing at the end. So and then for pace of books, 43 were slow paced, 92 were fast paced, and then 128 were medium paced books. And then for the average page length, 172 of them were under 300 pages. 96 were 300 to 499. And then we had 9 that were over 500 pages. And so I worked really hard this year to get better at reading nonfiction. And I'm going to be working on that more. So I read 76 nonfiction. And then 191 of them were fiction. So obviously fiction is still ruling my life, but nonfiction did take a good piece of the pie this year. And then my largest genre is children's. Then we have young adult, romance, contemporary, fantasy, mystery, middle grade, historical, graphic novel, science. That came in with my STEM story time, LGBTQIA plus, nature, also my STEM story time, science fiction, memoir. I am a big fan of a good memoir. Self-help, biographies. I'm not sure how that's different from a memoir right now. Thriller, comics, classics, poetry, literature, and yeah, I read one business book. So like the smaller it gets down here. And I read one manga last year, so I'm starting to get into manga a little bit. So, and then I'm not sure what tags are, but Children's is clearly rocking it, and then picture books. So I don't know how tags come into the mix, but in format, 6 were digital, so this is like ebooks and stuff. I don't really read much ebooks, but yeah, audiobooks and print are my jam. So 67 were audiobooks, and then 204 were print books. So, and then my most read authors were Nancy Springer. So Nancy Springer um writes the Enola Holmes series. I love those books so much. Because of the Netflix movie. Um and someone picked it for a book club. I read one of those books and then I just binged the entire series. And now I own the entire series, including the newest one, which I have not read yet. So and then Alice Oseman, Heartstopper, read all of those and some other her books. And the reason the value is 7 because I've reread them. And in multiple languages, as we'll get to languages in a minute. And then Emily Henry, I've read uh her 3 romance novels, and then there's a novella, or it's like a short story called The Layover. Um, it's on her website. I highly recommend going and checking it out. Um, and then Bridget Kemmerer, oh my gosh, she's one of my favorite authors ever. So highly recommend checking her out. She's written Letters to the Lost, Defy the Night series, the Curse of Dark and Lonely series. Yeah, she's absolutely amazing. And then Julie Clark, she is one of my new favorite authors. Um, I read 4 of her books. Hold on. 1, 2. Don't ask me how it got on there. How she's on there twice with 4. Maybe I read them twice. I don't know. I don't know how this happened. Um, I read 3 of J.K. Rowling's books last year, apparently. Yeah, The Christmas Pig, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stones, and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Then Stephanie Meyer. I'm currently in the middle of a reread of the Twilight series. I have stopped at I just finished Eclipse and I haven't gone past that. Um, so I'm gonna get there. Uh, and then Katie O'Neill, she wrote the Tea Dragon series, graphic novels. They are totes adorable. I cannot recommend them enough. And then Marzi Wilson, she writes graphic novels. Well, they're comics really, like graphic comics, and they're like all about like introverts and like anxiety. Um, so yeah, they are so funny and so relatable. And then I read the Inheritance Games series last year by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So that's how they got down here. And you can also track language on here. So most of them were in English, and I don't know why there's one this is obviously English too, but I did read one book in Catalan. I read the Heartstopper graphic novel in Catalan because that was the only language I could get it in. I don't speak Catalan, but I thought it would be similar to Portuguese because it's also a Romance language. But it wasn't as close as I thought, and it was really hard. Um, and then I also read the first Heartstopper novel. I bought all of them in Portuguese. I served a mission for my church in Brazil, and I am fluent in Portuguese. So I want to get through the rest of them in Portuguese this year. So that's one of my goals for 2023. So this is my uh year uh stats. It's like books read by pages. So I read 34 books in January, 8 in February. Quite a dip there. January was going hard. 30 in March, uh 26 in April, 22 in May. You know what are the pages? So 3604 to 34 books, and then 8 books to 25, 13. And then 4219 to 30 books. Interesting. Then 26 to 54, 54.99. Wow. And then 22 to 61.99. Wow, that's a lot of pages. June to 7557. So I completed whatever-a-thon in that month, and I went all out for whatever-a-thon. Yeah, I read like a crazy person. And then I completed another readathon in July, so that's why they go crazy in that month. So 26 that month, and then 7657. And then for August, I read 26 books. Pages dipped slightly. Um, and then 34 books in September. Not sure why the pages dropped. Oh, I was reading books for my STEM story time and getting prepped for that. So a lot of books, less pages. Um, October, 5403 pages, only 14 books. I must have read a lot of big books that month. I don't remember what happened in October. 18 books in November, 4,740, and then 14 books in December, and then 5184 to end out the year. So my books kind of went down October, November, December. I had some rough mental health months. Um, but it was still a good number. So yeah. So I'm really generous with my 5 stars. So 188 were 5 stars. We got 48 4 stars, 14 3 stars, 8 2 stars, 11 1 stars, and then 4 no ratings. So a lot of these like no ratings are like memoirs. So a lot of times, depending on the memoir, I won't give a rating. So yeah, so these are my reading stats for 2023. So some of my goals for this year, I am obviously planning on reading 200 books for this year. Obviously off to a good start with 7. Apparently I'm ahead by 2 books. But I definitely want to read more nonfiction again this year. And I definitely want to read, I want to start tracking my series because I've seen a lot of people track series and I don't do that. I just sort of like hear and I'm like, oh yeah, that series. And like I usually like buy my series and they're like on my shelves and then they stare at me and judge me and be like, are you gonna read me? Like, you know the next one's coming out soon. Why haven't you read me yet? Or it just reminds me that like I should probably check if the next one's gonna come out soon. So yeah, that's a goal of something I would like to do. Will it happen? Maybe. I make no promises. Um, so yeah. Uh, I'm working on getting my diversity, reading more diverse authors. I'm not sure how I'm gonna track that. Um, but yeah, because I don't want to create another spreadsheet. So, but yeah, some goals to work towards for next year, for this year. Oh gosh, I feel I'm acting like it's not 2023 already. Good grief. So yeah, so excited to get into continue with my goals for 2023. And so let me know what your reading goals were for 2023. And if you have any like suggestions, just like leave them down in the comments. Of any books or things like any interesting nonfiction or any like fantasy. I read a wide range of things, as you can tell by my genres, that I read last year. So, yeah. Uh, the only thing I don't read like erotica or anything like that, and I'm not a horror person. Um, so yeah, those things, not my jam. Um, but yeah. Uh, but other than that, I'm pretty open on what I like to read. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed. So just want to say, remember who you are and where you live. See you in my next one.